Okay, so today's topic is, what is today's topic? How to get out of debt and stay out of debt. um, so we're just gonna jump right in here. We've got several tips, and we're gonna tell you some things on our that we've done to get out of debt. Mike and I are out of debt except for our house. Our house is worth about $320, and we owe about $140 or less. How much do we owe now? Do we know? $135 or something?
Can't remember.
A lot of that is
I shouldn't say
equity,
can't
though.
Remember. I think it's 130.
Yeah, we paid like $200 for it 5 years ago, so a lot of that is equity. But we could move back to Kansas, or we could move down to Georgia, and we could be totally debt-free. But we moved to Colorado to get away from the heat, which I'm a little hacked about that the last few weeks.
About what?
That we moved to Colorado to get from the heat.
Yeah, with it being
Emery
95
Shea
degrees.
wants to know, what is the reason that you don't ship to Canada? There is a law, a Canadian law, that says that we cannot ship books to Canada.
We didn't know about it at first.
And all of our books in Canada, even if they wanted to pay the $35 in shipping fees, which is how much it costs to ship one book to outside the U.S., even if they wanted to pay that, Canada was confiscating our books at the border. We kept losing them. We lost thousands of dollars trying to ship to Canada, and we finally just had to stop. So now we can only do ebooks. I'm really sorry. We tried.
We tried a lot of things. We actually tried getting them in Amazon, and Amazon said they declined the orders, saying we can't ship there.
Yep.
Yeah, but Amazon CA is different than Amazon.com, and it was.
Yep. Yeah.
So there was a lot of trouble there.
So, all right. So, how to get out of debt and stay out of debt. What did we do, and what do we suggest you do? So, the first thing we suggest you do is that if you're a Christian, start tithing and do not start tithing, and if you're not tithing, if you are tithing, then keep tithing. Sorry. Mike has an article, I texted it, on Mom and I wrote, because someone said, well, wouldn't that give you more money in your budget if you stopped tithing? Because right there, bottom one. Because they saw on our sample family budget, which Mike will put on there now, send the text edit, that we tithe 10% no matter what. Right there, let's see, right there, simple budget. We tithe 10% no matter what. I don't care if it's 2 pennies. And the reason we do that is because as Christians we believe that if we don't give the 10% to God first, that we're not going to be blessed with what we need. And the Bible is specific about that. So for us, that's the number one priority. No, it does not leave more room in your budget. It actually takes away from the budget. And even, I remember one time, we literally had no money to our name. There was no money in the checking account. I had no cash, nothing. And it was like 10 days until Mike got paid again. We were just thinking, what are we going to do? And I literally gave my last quarter in church that day. I had a quarter. So I put it in there. And the next day, I kid you not, the next day in the mail came a $250 check that we weren't expecting. It was a refund from our car insurance that they had charged us, and we got a refund for it. And so every single time we have money problems, as long as we continue to tithe, our needs are taken care of. And so that is the one thing we do above everything as Christians. Let's see. All right. I was just checking some of the comments there. Do we want to address any? Just go ahead. Okay. All right. So the next thing you need to do, so if you're not tithing, I would suggest you do it. And if you are tithing, keep doing that. I don't care if it's your last cent. God will take care of your needs if you're faithful to do that. The next thing is pretty simple, but stop spending. Period. I forgot to check the name of who it was, but just this week, I got an email from one of our viewers, and I'm so sorry I forgot to get your name, but you'll know who you are. And she said, I just wanted to thank you. You saved us $30,000 this week. I was like, whoa, $30,000. I know I'm good.
This week? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that person.
But
Yeah,
I didn't
who
know
you're
it was
talking
that
about.
good. And she said we went to go buy a car, and we decided to wait 24 hours on putting the down payment on. Sorry, guys, I have a really super bad throat, so sore throat. And she said we went to go buy a car, and we decided to wait 24 hours, and in that 24 hours, we saw your videos on one of your videos, and she said we decided that by the time we bought the car, it was going to be $15,000, I think, somewhere around there. By the time we added the insurance, the extra tags, all that kind of stuff, all the interest from the payments, it was going to be $30,000. So we decided to take our down payment and just buy cash for a car. And I was like,
Which is what we had said that same show, right?
Yes, that was exactly what we said. The thing
We're about
is,
to do that ourselves again.
yeah, this week Mike's car literally, I am not joking, is falling apart. We should have taken a picture, but we didn't have time before the show. So
well,
what
it's had a
happened?
good run. Well, it's just, we let our son drive it for pizza delivery last fall, which was probably not a good idea, and it got beat up pretty badly then. And so there were a lot of things that were kind of troubling about it, and I was driving down the road thinking, okay, let's see. The air conditioner wasn't working now, but we weren't sure since the summer's almost over, should I fix it if the car isn't going to last for a long time? And then I remembered that last year we were having some kind of problem with the heater where it was heating, but it wasn't defrosting the windows. And I was thinking about it. There were a variety of other problems that we had. And I was driving down the road doing the math in my head thinking, should we fix that? Or what if we fix that? And what if it... And all of a sudden, just in the moment when I'm thinking about it, suddenly this thing flapped up and started smacking the window on the driver's side while I was driving down the interstate. And apparently the rubber part, the wheel well is rubber in this car, and it came out and it just started slapping the window, and I thought, okay, this is probably my answer. I need to just get something different for this one. But you know, we put a lot of miles on it. We bought it for $1,200.
Yeah. We paid $1,200 for the thing, and we've gotten not quite, but almost 2 years out of it. So
but it's had a lot of things fail in a short amount of time, which
Yeah.
for us is usually a sign that it's gonna cost a lot more than buying a different one for $2,500 or $3,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So this tip is stop spending. Stop spending on cars, stop spending on clothes, stop spending on kids' activities, stop spending on groceries, stop spending on your electric bills, on all of that. Mike's going to put a link in there to our top 10 tips for garage selling.
garage sales
Probably, yeah, 95% of the things we buy are used. 95%. Even the towels behind me, all my cute towels that I keep buying, those weren't used, but I did get them at 90% off when I bought them. And I did specifically buy them for the show, for decoration. But, sorry. So stop spending. Your kids don't need to be in the activities if you can't afford it. They don't need to be in there. They will survive, and they will do just fine. Stop worrying about what other people think. Stop getting the manicures and the pedicures if you can't afford them. Stop buying clothes that you can't afford, that you're just trying to impress people. Stop spending to medicate yourself when you're feeling bad. This is a big one for a lot of people. They use spending for when they're emotional, when they're depressed, when they're feeling bad, when they get in an argument with their spouse. Stop doing that. Even online
just
spending.
When they're bored.
Yeah, or just when they're bored. Even coupons. If you're spending with coupons and sales, and you're not, and you don't need it, and you're in debt, stop. I mean, you just, yeah.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but with me, I used to spend a lot before we got married.
Yeah,
I would
and
put it
Mike's
on,
story's in there, and he'll put a link
I
on
would
there.
put it on credit debt, and I would think, oh, I deserve it or I want it or something. And when I married Tara, I kind of she said, we can't be spending like this if we're gonna have a household. And I was thinking, I don't really want to hear that, but she's right. So I was being really careful. And after we did this Christmas money thing where all of our money went to paying off debt except for a small amount of Christmas money that we gave instead of gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we gave gifts, but we gave the money if somebody would rather have a gift that was more expensive than what we were willing to pay. And when I used to have that money for myself and buy something, I realized, wow, I have this money and I bought something and I don't really care about it 5 minutes after I bought it. And it was a change for me. It changed my mindset completely to realize, wow, do I really need that? And maybe I had to wait a week or two and think about it. And usually by that time, my mind has gone on to the next thing that I want.
This kind of goes into stop your expensive hobbies. When we first got married, Mike was into photography, and he could easily go through a ton of film. Back then, that was before digital cameras. And he would take pictures of everything. I was just like, why are you taking pictures of the parade? We're not even in the parade. But if you are quilting, stop buying expensive sewing machines. Stop buying material you can't afford. Stop going to quilt stores, quilt shows, that kind of thing. If you're a scrapbooker, stop buying it. If you can't afford it, you can find all those things at yard sales and garage sales and that kind of thing. And, you don't need to be spending. If you're getting out of debt or if you have bills, like, let's say you have medical bills, but you're spending all this money buying a new camera for your photography and spending gas, going to all these places and pictures. You don't need to be spending money on hobbies that are expensive when you have things like medical bills, student loans, car debt, all of that stuff. It doesn't mean you can't do it. I'm a huge gardener and I love to garden. But 95% of my gardening things are either on clearance, significantly clearance, like 90 to 75% off, or I get them at garage sales, including my plants, or free. So you can do all that stuff. That's how we paid off $20,000 of debt in 5 years on $22,000 a year income. I didn't do that. I would take my money that I got for Christmas or my birthday, and I would take that $20 and I would go to garage sales and buy the gardening stuff that I wanted. So yeah, and video games. That's a big. Somebody who is it, Winter Bass, said her husband is obsessed with video games. Yeah,
Well, and I love video games, but it got to a point where I just thought, I bought one a long time ago, and I played the same one all the time. And since then, one of our kids, our 18-year-old son, I wasn't playing any video games. I got kind of tired of that one. And our 18-year-old son pointed me to a video game, and it's actually free. You can just pay for it's League of Legends, and you can actually pay for certain things to upgrade it, but you can earn those things by playing the game. So that was okay. But also a lot of people, I don't know if do people still buy movies a lot?
Yeah,
because
they do.
The thing is, I used to buy movies all the time until I finally realized, wow, I'm paying all this money for movies, and we watch them once.
Well, and we had a friend of our son's from, 10, 15 years ago. They were both mom and dad worked. They never could make ends meet. They never had any money for anything. They literally went out to eat every single day. And one time I went into their house to pick up my son, and I kid you not, they had to have had at least $5,000 to $7,000 in DVDs. Their whole wall was completely lined with DVDs, and they weren't old ones either.
Well, and we found that you can get movies at the library. You can get
Mhm.
books at the library. People say
Mhm.
books, they're educational, we need to buy them. But the reality is, you can get them at the library most of the time.
Yeah.
Or we've also bought them used online for super cheap and then sold them back.
Yeah.
But the video or the movies, if you can't find them at the library, you can rent it for $2.99 or $3.99 or something
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Um,
And if you only watch it once or twice, it's still a lot cheaper than buying it.
yeah. Linda, you might try and hit refresh and see if that helps. No one else is complaining about it starting
It did
and stopping.
seem like it skipped once
Oh,
on
okay.
Facebook for a couple seconds.
Okay.
If it's happening a lot,
Let us know and we'll.
because I'm listening to it and I only heard it the one time. So if you're having it a lot, yeah, I would refresh.
The next thing is to cut back on everything. Cut back on your grocery bill. There's a link that Mike's going to put up on how to save on your grocery bill. Are you listening?
Wait, what? No,
Link to your grocery bill.
I'm listening, but
um,
I'm getting multiple
I
distress
know.
signals.
I'm sorry.
Just-
Scroll up.
What am I looking for? Just tell me.
How to save on your grocery bill, but did I not put it there? I
T-
didn't. Okay, just do that one. And one of the ways to save on your grocery bill is to stop wasting food. Eat the leftovers. Don't have leftovers. Cook for the next meal. You know, when I make a roast, I make 3 or 4 meals out of the roast. When I make a chicken, I make 3 or 4 meals out of chicken. Your cell phone. You don't need a smartphone. Get a $20 flip phone if that's your only phone. I didn't have a cell phone until, was it last year we got it, I think? And I didn't even have a cell phone.
And you still don't use
And
it.
I still don't use the cell phone because I hate the dumb thing. So if you have a landline, you don't even need a cell phone. Your kids certainly do not need a cell phone. Our kids, when they're 16, we let them get a cell phone, but they pay for it with their own money that they've earned.
And they have to have a driver's license.
Mm-hmm. But my 7-year-old and my 13-year-old don't have their own cell phone. Kids don't need their own cell phone. And if you think they need it for safety reason, just get them a flip phone that's $25 a month or something. You know, there's no reason for that. Okay, let's see. The next tip is don't get frustrated after you've done this for 1 week. And go ahead and start posting your questions because we'll ask them and we'll start answering them in just a little bit. But a lot of people will do these tips and they'll cut back their cable. Cut your cable. If you have cable, you don't need cable at all. You need to cut it, period.
Yeah, we
There's
have
no
Netflix
reason.
for $9 a month, and
Yeah.
it does fine for our whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we watch things on YouTube or get things at the library, but we haven't missed it at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's actually a lot more mellow life without the crazy ads.
Let's see, it's been about
7 or 8
12,
years.
no, it's been like 12
12
years since we've had cable. Well, it was, yeah, well, 10 years. It's been 10 years since we've had cable. And don't get frustrated when you do this for the first 3 or 4 days and then you're like, oh, well, I don't really want to be doing this. This is uncomfortable. Well, I really want a new car. Oh, my car broke down. You have to do this over the long haul. We didn't pay off $20,000 of debt in 5 years on $22,000 a year income by quitting the first month we did it. It took us 5 years. That was a pretty low income even for 4 people. But still, you know, you can do it. So,
Well, and find something that works for you. I think I've shared this before, but back in the caveman days when we were paying off our debt, we didn't have apps to do this kind of thing, but I made a graph that showed how much debt we had, how much we were paying on it right now, and projected out how long is it going to take us to pay it off at the current rate. And for me, it worked because I had this sense of kind of competition where I was every month I had to figure out how to pay more than what we had projected, and then we would draw the line. We'd redraw the line, so we were thinking, look, it's going to be sooner, and it was really exciting.
yeah.
So if there's something that really is meaningful to you, or your spouse or whatever.
Or save all your change in the jar.
And then, doing that system.
Yeah, and treat yourself out to dinner or something. That's fine. But you can't. The main point is you just have got to stop spending. Okay, I'm going to start answering some questions. I'm sorry I keep squinching. It hurts really bad for me to swallow, so I'm really sorry. Let's see. Kimberly asked how to save on pain medications. Do we have all the internet shut off?
Connection.
Looks like we're having a problem with our internet connection, so we may cut out. Mike's going to go check on it while I'm talking. Pain medications. So what we did when we were on pain medications and couldn't afford it was we bought ours online from Canada. And that saved us about $700 a month. I think I spent like $50 or $100 on our medication, and they would have been $700, $800, I think, somewhere around there. And so we bought them from Canada. Now, the other thing you can do is to ask your doctor for samples. A lot of times, if your doctor knows that you're low income, they will give you samples or a lot of samples. One time, we couldn't afford one of my son's medications that he was going to have to be on long term for asthma. And so the doctor said, here, and he handed me, I'm not kidding, there was probably 15 inhalers in there. And he said, these are about to expire, and we have to get rid of them, but they will be perfectly fine for the next year for you to use. And so so that's how we saved. So Mike is trying to figure out why we're cutting out on Facebook. I'm sorry, guys. We don't know why. We're still. Joy says honey. Yes, Joy. Actually, I'm drinking honey water right now to try and keep me going. Do we want to stop and start again, or?
If you want to, it'll take me a few minutes. 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay, guys. So we're going to stop and start again and see if that will help. Wait, no, we're maybe back again. Did we have anything plugged in that was?
Everything is off.
Everything is off. Okay.
I think the internet's just somebody in the neighborhood's using something.
Okay. All right. So it looks like maybe we're back again, guys. So for pain medications, ask your doctor. Also, you can contact the company, and if you're low income or something like that, they will sometimes give you coupons or samples or that kind of thing. They say if you can't afford your medication, let us know, so we do that. Let's see. Another person, I can't remember who it was, said, what do you do when you live on disability and you're on a low fixed income? Well, Mom lives on about, I think it's $650, I'm not sure, dollars a month. And so she's in the same spot. We're going to start doing interviews with her next week, but it's all the same principles. You know, you don't buy anything you can't afford, that kind of thing.
If you want to stop.
Okay, we're going to stop because we're halfway through and see if we can reconnect, if that will help. So we're going to try and get on there again, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, so I have the 3 winners that we picked out. So let me tell you who they are.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun! Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, they are. You want to read the first one?
These?
Oh, and I think she just said she was in Canada.
Yes.
Okay.
You could be a gift. Emery Shea.
She won, so it'll probably have to be ebooks, but
Then
yeah, ebooks.
Freak DY Geek 2.
Freaky Geek 2, I think is who it's supposed to be. I think I misprinted
Oh,
that.
you spelled it wrong.
Freaky Geek 2.
That would
and
probably
then-
be a YouTuber. Huh?
Yeah, probably. And
And then Brandy Barnett.
all right, so if you guys contact me Go to livingonadime.com to the contact page with your email address, and I will send you either your soap or your books or ebooks, whichever you want. So,
Are we asking questions now? Or?
Okay, so now we're going to finish our last 18 minutes of questions.
So Nicole says, for meal planning, I shop every 2 weeks based on sale ads. Is this an okay way?
Yeah. Whatever. I say whatever way works for you, do it. I know people who shop once a month, which I did used to do when we lived in Idaho. I know people who shop every week, and I think that's fine. The thing is, just pick a system that works for you and stick with it, and that's the way you'll save money.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, we don't have the same questions as before.
Oh dear, all our questions are gone. Okay, let's see if we can find them on YouTube. Grandpa's Farm wants to know if he can get a soapy book. Funny. I need to write a book on soap.
Well, do we have something else we can tell them on the debt while we're waiting for more questions?
Okay, so while you're posting your questions and we get caught up here.
So if you posted a question and we didn't answer it, please post it again, because we had our video shut down and we had to restart everything, and our questions are not listed anymore.
Yeah, so if you had a question that you wanted to ask, put it back up there again. Let's see.
Michelle says Winco helps me. So nothing else new yet.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So I guess I'll talk about just a little bit about how I shop for groceries, since that's usually a big one. The main things that I do is I shop for my pantry. So I refill my pantry, and then I cook for my pantry. I don't necessarily plan meals. I have written down like 10 or 20 meals that we kind of rotate through. My problem is, by the time 5 o'clock comes around, I'm usually so sick and nauseated that absolutely nothing sounds good for me for dinner. And now the teenagers are not home half the time, or they don't want to eat it, or whatever. So I hate cooking at this point. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a cookbook author, but, so I cook to refill my pantry is how I do. So, like, I make sure I have the stuff for tacos, and I make sure I have the stuff for that kind of thing. Okay.
Actually, we had a couple questions.
Okay. How do you know what bill to pay first? Sandy wants to know.
Pay the smallest.
Well, yes and no. It depends on the situation. You just said bill. You didn't say credit cards. If it's your credit cards and you're not behind, pay the smallest one first. If it's credit cards and you are behind, pay the one that you're behind on first, and then start paying your smallest one off. Call them if you can't pay them, and see if you can get a smaller payment system down. Also, for any of them, always, always, always pay your rent first.
Or your mortgage, yeah.
Yeah, your rent or your mortgage, your house. Pay your housing first. And then the other thing is, if you have to get to work, pay for your car. But if you owe on your car, let's say you have, I don't know, $15,000 loan on your car, and you can't make the payments, sell the sucker and get something for $1,200 or $2,000 that you can afford to get back and forth to work with.
Yeah. Really, anything that runs reliably doesn't need to be fancy, but I think people expect it needs to be fancy in order to be safe. But that's not really true. That's not true.
Tammy wants to know, how do you cut down electric bill while using Central Air? Don't use it.
Well, turn it up a little.
If you're in the summer, like what we did growing up was we turned it off at night, and then in the afternoon when it got hot, we would turn on our air conditioner, and we would use fans. Like with us, Mike keeps complaining because he says it's hot in here.
85 degrees.
It's not either. It's like 80 degrees in here. But we found out that our air conditioner just can't keep up. So I put a fan over the air conditioner, or right in front of the air conditioner vent, and now it's been keeping the house cool. So you can run your fans and turn it up. You don't need to run it at 70, 60. I knew a person who ran their air conditioner at 60. Okay, get this. They ran the air conditioner at 68 in the summer, but they ran the heat at 78 in the winter. Makes no
Ours
sense.
is usually around 78.
Yeah, we keep ours about 78 or so.
But also, I forgot something that you can get a window unit for not that much, and what you could do is set the house on a temperature that's warmer than you really want to have to deal with,
Yeah.
and then have a window unit in the area where most everybody is most of the time.
And that's what we did growing up. Our house, we closed it off so that we lived in 3 rooms in the summer and winter, and we heated it with wood in the winter, and we just used the air conditioner in those 3 rooms in the summer. So you can close your house off and just heat 1 or 2 rooms, or cool 1 or 2 rooms. Let's see.
Pray that the heat goes
78
away.
is way too warm. Yeah, no, it's not. 78 is not way too warm. Just put a fan. If you think it's too warm, then put a fan. But yeah. Let's see. Anything else?
I was busy with, is grocery shopping by sale ads a way to save? I think that's Nicole that asked before, but she said she was away.
Nicole? Yes, I pretty much shop all my fresh fruit and meat on sale with groceries, on sale with ads. I usually don't pay more than $1.99 for chicken, and I don't pay, like, peaches 99 cents, apples 99 cents, grapes 88 cents. I always shop. We only eat what's on sale for that week. So if grapes are on sale, that's what we eat.
I forgot where it was. A couple of people asking if we know about Dave Ramsey. Yes, and a lot of what he recommends is what we've done.
Yeah,
for
Dave
a long
Ramsey
time.
started about the same time we did, 17 years ago. Well, actually 20 years ago almost now. It is pretty much, we started about the same time. Well, then he had the same tips we had.
Jennifer says I shop on Thursday nights when the grocery store reduces lots of their stuff at half price. And I think that's a really good thing, is to find out when the store does reduce things and buy it then.
And I buy a ton of stuff on clearance. Meat, donuts. We never buy donuts unless they're on clearance. A lot of specialty breads, that kind of thing. Christy wants to know, what do you think about the envelope method?
It's pretty good for...
Yeah. If it works for you, then do it.
Absolutely.
I see no problem with you dividing up your grocery bill and your gas money and your eating out money, whatever. If that works for you, then I say go for it.
Well, it's especially good if you have, if somebody in the family has a problem with just swiping a card and not really paying attention to the balances, which is a really common reason for people to be in debt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
Tanya says budget your electric, and that way you pay the same all year. I'm not sure. You mean like budget...
Oh, remember when we were in Kansas, they had that budget pay, and they would average out, so our electric... So I don't like that. It's where your electric bill is $300 in the summer, and your heat bill is $100 in the winter.
So they kind of average
and they
out
just average you out the whole week. The reason why I don't like that is because if you go to move, you could be stuck with like $1,000 bill.
Because they'll bill you, if the estimate doesn't match the actual, they'll bill you the actual.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Dolores says 72 is good. Yeah, that's way too cold. Here's the deal. That's fine if your bills are paid and that kind of thing. But if you're in debt and you're trying to get out of debt, you don't need your AC at 72. You need to bump it up to 78 or 80.
And what might be good is if you're used to 72, maybe you could run it at 73 for a while and run it up.
Yeah, you could work your way up.
But honestly, I would say that putting the window unit in one room and turning it up everywhere else would be helpful. Or closing off rooms you don't use. I know that's something a lot of people say, but...
Let's see. They make portable air conditioners. Yeah, they make portable air conditioners that you can do. Kathy says balance billing. Yeah, that's what it is when they average out. I don't like that. I like to know how much I'm spending on my electric and how much I'm spending on my water or whatever, because then I can cut back and know if I need to cut back. So, is there any questions on YouTube?
I didn't see who it was, but somebody asked, wouldn't it make it more expensive if it was cycling on and off? And no, it doesn't.
No, it
uses-
doesn't.
it's only using
Yeah.
the power when it's actually running the compressor.
Yeah,
Well, and the fan.
yeah,
Yeah, Nana says envelope method works very well if you don't rob Peter to pay Paul. So right.
yeah. Well, and you can rob Peter to pay Paul. Just realize that if you spend more on your grocery budget, you're not going to be able to eat out, or you're not going
But
to
if-
be able to have.
If Paul that you're paying is entertainment budget, and Peter that you're robbing
Yeah.
from is your food bill,
That's totally
that's going to be
different.
trouble.
So you got to make sure you got your priorities straight on that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's not a lot of new questions at the moment. So,
okay. All right, go ahead and post. We've got about 5 more minutes left, so post some questions if you want. I'm just going to say one more time, so in case you missed it, who are our 3 winners again of either soap? And if you want my soap, it's for sale. Go to the website. Michael put a link up there. But the 3 winners were Emery Shea, Freaky Geek 2, and Brandy Barnett on our YouTube subscribers to the soap. I'll not put it on there.
oh, this one?
And you can buy my soap. Please buy my soap because I have tons of soap and
Somebody said, Elaine says, what are you sipping on? She has a horrible, terrible sore throat, and in
Yeah.
order to come on the show today, she ended up putting lemon juice in there to try to
Yeah.
make it through.
honey and lemon juice is what I'm sipping on
Yeah.
because I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to talk today. And we're doing a show on Monday on starting your own internet website, YouTube channel, mostly on starting your own website. And Mike is going to be talking about that on Monday. Yeah, surprise. Don't forget our books are on sale, 50% off while we still have them. Everything but Dining on a Dime is on sale. So grab them while you can. We're not reprinting them. And Bonnie says, yes, Bonnie just got some of my soaps. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. She said she loved them. This is darn tootin' good soap. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but don't you agree?
Oh, they're lovely.
He's
Actually,
reading comments and not paying attention.
The funny
to me.
thing about the soaps is I get all the rejects.
Yeah, he loves the rejects. Okay, let's see.
I like the coconut ones just because.
Alicia says, any ideas for increasing money or to get extra money? I mean, you can do anything. You can babysit, you can dog sit, you can do yards, you can get a second job. Sell stuff on eBay, which I don't really recommend.
We actually didn't we do an article on that somewhere?
Yeah, we did it. We have an article on our website, although I don't know where it is. There was another question on there. Somebody said something about turning down your hot water heater. I didn't see whose name it was, sorry. But yes, if you turn down your hot water heater, that is a great way to save some money on your gas bill or your electric bill. Jennifer says what?
I'm out of work due to medical reasons, and my insurance through my job has been terminated. I have prescriptions I can't get due to financial situation. Any suggestions on getting help?
You can ask your doctor. I mean, I said this earlier in the show, but if your doctor knows that you're having this problem, sometimes they have samples. One time I got a year's worth of medication for my son that was about to expire, but the doctor said, use it, it's great. I did that.
Our Kroger offers a discount card if you don't have
Yeah.
insurance on it.
I don't know if they have the $4 insurance. I don't know if they have the $4 ones anymore. Also, we used to buy them from Canada. I don't know if you still can, but we did buy our prescriptions from Canada and saved us like $700 a month. So that was really, really good. Let's see. Mom said she took in ironing. She made gingerbread man. She cleaned houses. Yeah. If you need extra income, sometimes that's what you've got to do is just start finding a need and filling it.
Elaine says, tuned in late, what kind of soap?
This is just homemade olive oil soap. Really good. It's moisturizing. I just got into soap making again. I used to do it 20 years ago for my job. I just kind of got into it. Somebody said...
Oh, Heather was asking what's the lowest you can turn the water heater down and still kill bacteria. The water heater isn't actually...
No, Heather,
bacteria.
Heather, you cannot turn your hot water up high enough to kill the bacteria. It has to be boiling to actually kill it, and you cannot turn your hot water heater up that high. What kills it is only if you add like a drop or two of bleach, cap full of bleach, depending on how much you have, in your water. That is what kills bacteria. So the best way to kill it is just to have hot, soapy water. We'll get rid of most of it, just the scrubbing of it and getting it off.
Yeah, Kara says some pharmaceutical companies will comp you or give you reduced prices.
Yeah, they will do that. Tiffany said she just made the cinnamon rolls from our 90-minute rolls today, and they were yummy. Thank you. If you have Dining on a Dime, our 90-minute rolls are in here. Let me see if I can find the page for you. This is our #1 recipe for breads on our website right here, page 75. It's our 90-minute rolls, and she made the cinnamon rolls right there. This is super good. These cinnamon rolls take literally 90 minutes. They're yeast rolls. They're fast. They're the best ever. They are so super good. And they're in Dining on a Dime right there. Mike's putting a link because he's just that good.
Oops.
And put that in there for you. Very good.
Oh, Elaine was asking how to get the soap, so I'll post a soap link.
Let's
Robin
see.
cleans houses for a living. Have been for 27 years now. Actually, it's funny because your mom and Sheila and I were doing those repo houses. We were cleaning repossessed houses, and they were pretty disgusting, but they paid well for doing that work.
Yeah, they did. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, I'm not feeling too hot, but that's okay. Let's see. Alicia said she has a free clinic. Yeah, sometimes there's free clinics and that kind. Apply for Medicaid. If you haven't applied, apply for Medicaid. You know, I have no problem if you can't afford insurance to do it. I know some people that they just don't even think to apply, and I would do that if you can't afford it. School lunches, if you qualify for inexpensive school lunches, the reduced school lunches, not only does it cut back on your school lunches, but it also cuts down on your school fees. We qualify for those, and I do. It helps our school too because they get more funding, and so it reduces our school fees from about $700 down to I think $200. So that's another thing.
Jen's asking, do we have the books on the website to buy? And
yes,
she's on
livingonadime.com. Click on the store, or if you're on your phone, click on our books here. And Teresa says bleach is truly antibacterial. Yes. Bleach is the only thing, or hydrogen peroxide or alcohol. Okay,
But
bleach is the only thing.
Well, she also makes a good point that you don't have to use very much of it.
No,
for it to
you
work
do
well.
not. Those three things, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, and bleach, actually kill bacteria. Vinegar does not. I repeat, vinegar does not. We have had people go around and around with this. I have called the health department. I've talked to my doctor. Vinegar does not kill. It only kills like 87%, not 99% like bleach. And you don't need that much. You need just a tiny bit of bleach in there. Just look on the bottle and it tells you how much you need to disinfect. Let's see. Anything else?
We're getting pretty close to the end of our time.
All right, so I think that's it. Please check out Deep South Homestead. They're on next on YouTube on the Homestead Network. There's a whole bunch of great homesteaders on there. We love being on there with them, and so please check out Deep South Homestead, and don't forget to visit us at livingonadime.com. Subscribe, like, share, visit us on our website, please, and click on our Amazon links. All those things help us have an income so that we can do this full time to bring you more free money-saving tips and recipes. Did I miss anything?
No, but
Okay.
you do need to go to bed because you're not well.
I'm looking that bad, huh?
Well, a lot of people are saying so.
Okay, I'm not going to talk for the rest of the night. So, oh, and don't forget, Mike's on Monday on how to build a website and get started on a website.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Good to see you.